Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
I've been a fan of Sony's PSP pretty much from the very beginning, from the first version of the PSP when it was released. Not because of the mobile gaming that it enables, which I'm sure many of you appreciate most about the PSP, but because it really promised to be a full on multimedia experience in your pocket. Not just with the games on UMD or potentially the movies or films on UMD if anybody bothered to buy any of those. But really being able to play MP3s or WMA files, being able to watch any kind of video that you put onto, just about any kind of video that you would put onto the memory stick, at least as long as it was an H.264. Of course, the ability then to browse the web as that was added. Sony has incrementally revised the firmware and has really breathed consistently new life into the PSP every few months. Generally speaking, of course, when a new feature comes along, the firmware usually runs throughout so that every PSP owner can take advantage of the new software features, so long as their hardware supports the software features that are added. So you might remember when I unboxed this, the PSP Slim, as it was known, the PSP-3000. It served me well, but I got to tell you, I haven't used it as much as I thought I was going to use it. Not because it's not great. I mean, it is. I mean, certainly it's lighter than the first PSP. This one came in at least the one I got came in a glossy silver. I really wanted it just because of its lighter weight, but ultimately I did not use it as much as I thought I would. Largely because right around the time that I got this, I also got the iPhone, and the iPhone kind of supplanted a lot of my mobile experiences. That being said, it is still good to have because I've got a lot of UMD sitting on the shelf, and certainly do enjoy watching, video on this screen. It's a great screen on the PSP. Always has been. I mean, of course, it's gotten better over time to the point where just the other night I happened to unbox this, the PSP-3000, also known as a PSP Bright. And I unboxed it live at live.pirillo.com. And I did record it. However, unfortunately, my live mechanism, somewhere on the back end, the video didn't save. So sorry, you're not going to be able to experience the unboxing unless, of course, you were one of the hundreds of people who tuned in for that. But it's kind of good that it didn't go through because now I'm able to kind of give you my impressions in using both the PSP Slim, the 2000, and the PSP Bright, the 3000. And, on the surface, not a lot has changed. I mean, some of the bigger things that have changed, certainly, you may have heard, the mic is now built into the PSP, and talking specifically about the PSP 3000. The screen is different. The response time has increased. However, because of that, there's also some interlacing issues you may have heard about. If you do a search for PSP interlacing, you've probably seen a few nasty threads going on about how bad it is and how Sony needs to fix it. Well, Sony sees it as a feature because of the response time being increased. In using it, I see the interlacing, but it really doesn't get in my way. Maybe it's just me. Not to mention, when they talk about having a new screen, they're not kidding. This screen is better. Like, way better. In fact, there is a new software feature that allows you to increase the contrast and the brightness, of course, inside. What do they call it? I'm looking for it. Color space is what they call it. Color space, and I can switch it between wide, as that's what it is now, or normal. And normal just seems kind of drowned out. In fact, you don't realize how drowned out the normal color space is until you're able to compare them side by side, and you're going, wow, that difference is like massively night and day. The color is like much more accurate. The blacks are much more black on the PSP Bright. So yes, the improvements they talked about on the screen seem to be well worth the time and effort that they put into it. Another thing that I've noticed on the PSP Bright is that the home button has been replaced with it looks like the PlayStation logo button. Not to mention the buttons seem to be, much more rigid or a part of the unit. more so than the older version of the PSP that I've had, specifically like the directional and even the buttons like the home button, the volume button, etc. They just seem to flow nicer. Maybe it's the fact that well, the particular case that I have on the PSP Bright here is silver, obviously, but it's a matte type of finish, which I actually appreciate more than the glossy. Doesn't attract so many fingerprints as the older model, the black PSP that I had, the first version. Another thing that I've noticed, the back of it, the PSP. It's not a big deal. This is the things that I noticed. The ring around the PSP wording on the PSP-2000, the ring is thicker than on the PSP-3000. So there's. Don't ask me how I know. Now, speed-wise, it's just about the same, of course, not accounting for the response time, but in terms of, game loading and generally getting around things, not much else has changed. Unfortunately, Sony still falls short in the desktop software department. The last desktop manager that I used to, manage media for the PSP that I really liked was something called PSPware. That's PSPWARE, and I think it's still under active development. Sony's official media manager software is not worth free. Unfortunately, they charge you for it, so don't waste your money on it. Don't ask me why. In fact, hang on, I just got a text message here. I wonder who that's from. Oh, okay. Apparently, someone who's a DS fanboy needed to text message me. I like the DS too, but this video is not about the DS. We'll get into the DS later, because yes, I plan on getting the DSi when it's released. Anyway, back to the PSP Bright versus the PSP 2000. If you have a 2000, you're probably not going to want to rush out and get a PSP 3000. It's not that compelling an upgrade. In fact, just about every review that I've read pretty much says the same thing. Now, if you have a first-gen unit, yeah, it may be worth your time, money, energy, effort, etc. to upgrade to the 3000. Now, let's say you do have the original PSP or the PSP 1000, and you were hoping to upgrade to the PSP 2000, possibly. Well, I got an extra one now, so I guess I'm going to kind of be selling it. Maybe I'll put it on eBay, or unless someone makes a serious offer. I really don't see myself as using it now that I have and am happy with the experience thus far, and see no reason why I'd change my mind as far as that was concerned with the PSP 3000 or the PSP Bright. It's just an incremental upgrade. So my old version, which hardly got used, is just fine. I don't think I have the case or the box for it anymore. But can I sign it? I guess, but that'd make it worth even less. Oh, $5,000? Okay, here's the PSP. Boy, there's just nothing but comedians hanging out in the chat room right now. If you were considering, though, jumping into a PSP and you didn't happen to be a gamer, you may want to try it specifically for the video viewing experience. Or, if you don't have an MP3 player, or you don't have a pocket photo browser, the software experience on the PSP is pretty amazing. I can't say the web browser has been anything but thrilling. The fact that now the firmware, the software on the PSP at any version supports shoutcast streams, it just makes for a very comprehensive mobile media experience. It really does. And, it's not just about gaming with the PSP, and certainly this new version is no exception. Now that they have the mic built in, I was actually kind of surprised they didn't they didn't build in a camera as well, especially with the DSi now claiming, what is it going to have, 2 cameras on the next DS? I just love when when you've got really good competition, between these juggernauts in the industry. But anyway, my impressions so far have been good. The screen, despite the interlacing, which I haven't really noticed all that much, has been great for me. I've certainly enjoyed it. Battery time seems to be just as good as it was with the PSP Lite or the PSP 2000. Everything else is just about the same. I didn't have to swap out any accessories. I already had, as I reviewed in the past, the connector to push the video and audio onto an HD TV. Of course, I had a USB power cable combo that you might be able to pick up somewhere. I don't think I did a review on that, but I'd rather carry that around than another power brick. Oh, those are crazy. But yeah, I think it's a good incremental upgrade, and I'd be really interested in hearing your thoughts on the PSP 3000 versus the 2000 versus maybe the first PSP. If and when and where you fall in that line, why? maybe you're someone who believes that, oh, it has to be the PSP or the DS. No, you can have both. I have both, and it's okay. I don't mind it at all. I mean, there's more game selection. Obviously I don't carry them around with me wherever I go, but I love taking the PSP with me when I travel. Because, dude, come on. You cannot deny that screen. Of course, now, like I said, the iPhone's kind of with me wherever I go, so. But, the games. Can't deny the games. Gotta love the games. In fact, I'm going to save it for another review. I'm going to do a review on one of the games that came with this. This is the Ratchet and Clank version of the PSP. I guess it was a limited edition. But one of the games that it came with, well, actually, it was a code to download the game on the PlayStation Store. It came free with it. It is called, Echo Chrome. And it's awesome. And it's so awesome that I'm going to try to demonstrate it for you. Then in another video, you may want to search for it. I'm going to zoom the camera in so you can see the screen up close to demonstrate what Echo Chrome is. Great game that came with this particular package. But anyway, I'm going to close this video out, tell you my email address, chris@pirillo.com. You're also welcome to stop by our community website if you'd like to talk about games, because believe me, there are plenty of geeks over there who like talking about games. And that is, if it hasn't already been dropped in chat, geeks.pirillo.com. You can upload photos, videos, write blogs, participate in the forums, ask questions, give answers. You can do just about anything if it's geeky. And then you're also welcome to stop by the chat room, which is a part of this live video experience. So even if I'm not here doing things, unboxing things, talking about things, playing games, doing whatever, the chat is certainly going to be saying something. I have no idea what it's going to do, what they're going to say, who's going to be in there. It's just unpredictable. That is the nature of chat. So hopefully you'll join us, because we got the live video, the chat room, the whole geekiness thing going on. Oh, you know where to go, right? Have you been paying attention? You've probably been paying attention up here. Maybe you've been paying attention down there. But look over in this general region for a yellow URL. You see it? Can you see it right there? Because that's where you got to go to see this live video feed. Yeah, my whole life being streamed online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. Will you later.